EG's turn to ban. EG's turn to ban. Ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. EG's turn to pick. Dire team pick.
Dusk.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Or do they say, okay, we'll leave it in the pool, evil geniuses, all yours if you want it?
I don't think they're gonna first pick Death Prophet. They might if they pick a defensive support. Elder Titan is actually against Tusk and Shadowfin. They're probably thinking about it.
Elder Titan. We've seen a lot of heroes, a lot of players, especially the supports that are roaming on the Elder Titan, have a lot of success with the ganks, the Echo Stomp, being able to get Echo Stomps and just kill people because they can't really run away from it, as well as the Earth Splitter, especially with those tankier heroes. You don't actually expect Elder Titan to do much till you get hit with 30% of your HP, which is a pretty big deal. So what do you like, what would you like partnered with an Elder Titan?
I think it's the beauty of Elder Titan, though, is that
I think Shaman's good. I mean, that's a Fnatic draft.
You have so many options because we've been seeing more and more focus on the magic damage aspect of Natural Order and then magic, resistance reduction. Whereas sometimes we saw earlier it was a physical damage reduction. They went for Dazzle and they were like, with this Natural Order we can do anything. So you pretty much pick any hero and Natural Order will find a way to be useful.
Death Prophet making its way into Evil Genius's lineup yet again, but VGJ.Thunder get Tiny this time. It was banned first phased in the previous series, so what are the benefits of Tiny here for VGJ?
The burst damage is good, the laning versatility is quite good. Status resistance is always a big plus when you're going to be playing against disables and silences, but that's kind of every game for Tiny.
The burst damage against the DP is the best choice. Just burst it down because you can't use the Spirit Siphon. What I feel about Tusk is that he's one of the position 4 heroes that is kind of easy to execute those ganks. You don't even need to be in a perfect position. Let's say Clockwork, Elder Titan as well. It's so much easier with a Tusk.
Yeah, you're really long range, right? You can start the snowball from quite far away. The Ice Shards has a really good distance on it.
So now we'll have to see VGJ.Thunder, do they get rid of the Terrorblade here? They get rid of the Razor. We have seen them play it themselves. They show a lot of success, but they take it out of the pool. Is Terrorblade going to get banned? And Evil Geniuses, if the Terrorblade gets banned, is the Luna or the SF getting banned here?
I don't know if VGJ.Thunder are necessarily going to go for the SF or the Luna now that they've already grabbed the Tiny. I feel like they're going to end up adjusting the overall draft
I think they'll still go for Luna. I mean, you don't guarantee, but I think it's still a definite viability because we see these tiny blink daggers early on. The main thing is that you make some chaos in the meantime, and like we mentioned before, the burst damage against Death Prophet is invaluable. These days we're seeing Death Prophets get a very early Glimmer Cape, or Fear's Death Prophet specifically, which still don't know if it's Fear's Death Prophet or not. Right now, VGJ.Thunder are banning out, like, I would consider Razor to be a Fear hero right now.
It's a pretty unfair matchup, Tiny against the Razor, that's why they want to ban it out.
There's nothing that Tiny can really do in that matchup, unfortunately. We even saw that in the, I feel like it was one of the Team Spirit series, right? There was they were going back and forth between Tiny and Razor, and then they took the Tiny first, and then immediately the Razor Omni came out, and the Tiny just got completely dominated in that game.
Yeah, maybe one of the heroes that VGJ.Thunder can pick up something more mobile that doesn't care about Spirit Siphon. Queen of Pain is the first one that comes to my mind.
Yep.
I have a history of picking Weaver maybe you wouldn't have issues with the silence, Death Prophet.
They also don't care about Tusk shards. You can just run away. It's pretty easy, pretty hard actually to hit the shards, or just run away from the snowball.
About this next ban, they're down to 100, a minute and 20 seconds on the board now. Any really strong heroes that you need to ban out during this phase right now? Because now the next two picks by the draft.
Team pick. EG's turn to pick.
Dazzle.
And the LC, but they give the Dazzle away to VGJ.Thunder.
So a little bit of a deny pick, like we've also talked about. It's pretty good to have the weave against the Death Prophet exorcism damage. I thought that EG might end up going for the Warlock, but instead they're actually gonna opt for Witch Doctor.
Yeah, CK might be a good old pick for VGJ.Thunder with the Dazzle, and it provides a lot of burst damage, especially against heroes like a Witch Doctor and Death Prophet.
If they pick up the CK, is there a chance that EG just goes for a lifesteal? They don't really have anyone except for the Tusk for the lifesteal bombs.
That's going too far down a rabbit hole. I'm still kind of skeptical about the CK because I feel Tiny and CK are kind of overlapping in some aspects. Like the way VGJ.Thunder play, it's like more like, let's give a Dusa to pair up with this Tiny. Like something that you don't need to fight early on, and it's not worth fighting early on. The CK, like you get these early points in Rift, people are using Phantasm to farm half the time. It's kind of Tiny's job.
Yeah, I'm thinking why EG banned the LC. I mean, Yank played pretty godlike Legion Commander in the past 2 days.
Yeah.
But it's also a counter to that CK.
So
This is some revenge here.
All right, what is RTZ gonna play?
I thought EG was going to pick Terrorblade, which is why they banned out the Legion Commander, but now...
Tables have turned. So how does EG deal with a Terrorblade?
Well, no problem. They're just gonna pick a melee hero and build a Battle Fury.
Phantom Lancer's banned. See, it has to be a melee hero, has to be an illusion hero, has to be both of those things.
It could also be Spectre. They also did Spectre, but I don't know if you want a Spectre versus Terrorblade.
You don't want to play it.
You don't.
It fits the other two criteria though.
It does.
What else makes TB unplayable? I mean, there's Tinker, but unfortunately they've already got the Death Prophet, so they'd have to set some pretty weird lanes to put the Tinker into the lineup. Zeus is annoying, but same problem. I don't know.
This is now a test of Misery's drafting. How does he deal with this Terrorblade?
This is definitely the most ahead of the game VGJ.Thunder has felt in these drafting phases for sure. Because, like, I mean, I don't know how much reserve time EG typically goes down to, but VGJ.Thunder seems like they know what EG's up to.
And they do pick up Tinker. So is this a mid-Tinker, a safe lane Tinker?
It's a mid-Tinker. Probably that Prophet
is it a female Tinker?
Can be played as a safe laner, which is one of the choices when you have already picked your mid.
I don't think
expect
anyone else plays Tinker.
Yeah, I don't really think so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if RTZ had a Tinker, but it probably hasn't played it very much
recently. Maybe they should ban out Void. This cancels the whole fight for VGJ.Thunder if you would just catch Dazzle in a Chrono or Terrorblade or both.
Yeah, they need somebody to... I mean, the Death Prophet kind of front lines, but it would be good to have some more initiation, some more lockdown.
Yeah. EG needs to get rid of the Storm Spirit, definitely.
Well, VGJ actually getting rid of the Weaver that they played the other day, maybe worried that there could be something elusive on the field on the side of Evil Geniuses. They don't have the best lockdown. That is the one thing you need to know with VGJ.Thunder's lineup. Dazzle, not great for catch. Elder Titan needs... He can't really catch elusive heroes. He can catch normal heroes. And Tiny, again, you don't really want to rely on just your Tiny for that lockdown. Is there anything else outside of the Storm Spirit that's in the pool that VGJ.Thunder need to be worried about?
They need to have either Storm Spirit or some Vision hero against the Tinker. They have Astral. Once the Tinker picks up a Blink Dagger, he's going to be out of control.
So you're saying Storm Spirit because you're expecting this Terrorblade to... Or you're expecting...
I think the Tiny might shift off lane if they need to grab a position 2 to deal with the Tinker.
I'm thinking... Well, I don't know. I think a Puck would fit in well. Storm Spirit seems so greedy, though.
It's EG. They are the definition
No, I'm talking about the VGJ.Thunder spec.
Yeah, VGJ.Thunder. But they do have the last overall pick, so they're going to get all the information out of EG here. EG having to think a little bit ahead.
I would go for Void here. That's kind of greedy, but still good.
Let's see it. It is the Faceless Void for EG. So do you feel a little bit more comfortable with this Death Prophet Tinker Void lineup for Evil Geniuses?
I mean, yes, everything seems in place.
Very,
no
very...
lockdown, like Dazzle and Elder Titan don't provide anything for Faceless Void, so it's going to be a good Faceless Void lane.
Are you concerned though, because this is very ultimate-centric?
They just need to set it up.
They need to not lose their lanes. That's the big thing, right? If they lose the lanes, all 3 cores take some time to come online. But they have 2 of the best early game supports, so I would be surprised if EG fell too far behind in the laning stage.
Okay. Are you all going to stick to your guns? Is it going to be EG this game?
I think it's going to be EG.
EG?
Yeah, okay, EG.
EG, full panel. They're all on to EG. We're going to throw it over to our custers right now. Luminous and Gods, take it away for Game 2 of the Grand Finals.
It's time, Lumi. Game number 2. We've got ourselves some interesting drafts here. You know, you see a Death Prophet, you don't expect a Tinker to be picked up with it, but we're going to be seeing an RTZ Tinker by the looks of things here.
You definitely could play it. Played it way long ago. It's a very technical, mechanically skilled player, or hero, but he's obviously a very skilled player. So I'm actually more curious about the Faceless Void. I mean, the panel said it was a good pick, and I do agree, but there was once upon a time a very strong Void player. Do you think Sumail could fill that shoes here?
That is, I mean, that's the thing, you know, it's like, you can't win here if you're Sumail. You win the game, it's like, you know, he should be able to play a good Void. You know, he's filling in Universe's shoes. If you don't, it's like, they should have kept Uni. It's definitely a lose-lose situation for him, but they would like to get the win.
Yeah, if you win here, then you do win.
I guess so.
That's fine, yeah. All right, well, we hop into the game. Do you agree with the panel that...
I think the Terrorblade Dazzle was a very scary duo. I mean, that right when the panel saw it, and I think we saw it as well. Like we see the Dazzle, and like, oh, you know, they're going to Terrorblade. It's great against it's very good against the first 3 picks that EG had. It felt like VGJ had the upper hand in the draft. The Tinker pick is a big X factor, and it is a Tinker that's not going to be going mid, which I think immediately raises some questions about how that's going to work. I think TB can still be played against Tinker. I don't think it's like a instant loss kind of matchup. So I think this draft is actually a bit more even, and I like VGJ because of the Dazzle Terrorblade.
The one thing I'm hugely concerned about Thunder's draft is they just don't have a good way to check for Tinker, right? You have Weave and Spirit from Elder Titan. These are not exactly spells you could just, well, definitely not the ultimate from Dazzle. I guess you could throw that Spirit around, but even if you see the Tinker, it's hard to kind of catch it. I guess.
You got that reflection, bro. Okay. You get vision, you reflect, then can't blink. Or if he does blink, the reflection follows him. No.
Now we're reaching.
Here we go. It is RTZ headed towards the top lane. I say top lane because it doesn't really feel like an off lane these days. Often teams putting their carries in the old off lane, putting off lane is in the safe lane, and it really is a bit of a mixed bag of lanes that we see come out from teams.
I mean, the issue with putting Tinker in the off lane is that he's not going to be alone 100% of the time, and Tinker is one of those heroes that do want pretty much full experience. So that is generally why we don't see it pretty much any place aside from mid. This is giving me some kind of nightmare flashback to that Pilot I support Tinker.
Oh god, yeah. That was never again, please.
Yeah, never again.
Well, laning wise, it will be support up top for the Tinker with the Ice Shard block coming in from Crit to help things out a little bit.
Speaking of block, VGJ's got the massive block advantage again on the mid lane.
Okay. Definitely help out. We haven't seen this that much this tournament. Off-lane pulls. Yang is pulling creep waves around.
There you go.
He is in a 1v1, so perhaps, well, it started as a 1v1. Misery's kind of headed down that way, so maybe not a full-on 1v1. But the off-lane pulls are happening. Top lane, VGJ, knowing that the TB is their key hero to kind of protect this game. Try laning with him, and also Tinker, the best hero to perhaps shut down.
I absolutely agree with both points. In fact, I think the Tinker shutting down is probably the most important mission objective here for VGJ.
And that's going to, I think, part of why EG put him in the top lane is they felt like that might be an easier lane for him. You're not sending Tinker to the quote-unquote off lane to sack him and get him under farm. You're sending him there because you feel like it may be the best place for him to be.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not. And I guess EG could go for a lane switch, but obviously VGJ could also follow. The one bright side is that Fair is doing very well in the mid lane. He has the matchup advantage here, and he will get very farmed.
Yep. It is, I mean, only a couple minutes in, but CS-wise, it's looking just fine for EG to get farm in all 3 lanes, which feels like an EG staple in this tournament. Somehow managed to get all 3 of their cores farm and CS. We didn't see it as much last game, but very often it's not about winning 2 out of the 3 lanes. It's about, you know, doing well enough in all 3, perhaps even going even in 3 lanes, but as long as they're getting farm on their cores, they're generally very happy.
Fade getting that movement speed thanks to the Spirit. Look at him go. The briefcase going right into Crit. Crit has shards. He will sharp himself up, but the stop is going to be there.
Batting route 2.
Oh, they're going to actually rotate around here for Misery. There is laser available, and Fade will back it off.
Yeah. Level 1 Tusk, no snowball yet. Could have perhaps helped him out there. And the Ice Shards tried to probably block the pathway up while pushing himself on the other side. He just wasn't able to quite execute the play. Crit has had a lot of success on this Tusk, but can't always get that perfect Ice Shards push. As for these 1v1 lanes, anything crazy or special you think is going to happen in them? You feel like either of them is going to be one-sided at all?
If Dragon Knight could keep his HP up, then he should be fine. But if you're hovering around the half HP, then all you need is a Tusk rotation, and you could force that into a kill. So Sylar, just make sure his HP is up, and he should be truly making it a 1v1. Because I do think that Thunder is fine with this trade, at least in the top lane.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Blocks him in with the shards. Is a snowball up now, but don't really want to go snowballing into a Dazzle Shadow Wave, which is actually not like a counter to a Tusk, but something nice to have, particularly for the laning stage with aggression coming your way. Shadow Wave, a heal and a nuke simultaneously against some of those melee heroes.
So the last lane we haven't really looked at is going to be the Faceless Void lane. 2 points into Bash makes a lot of sense here. You are up against a melee hero. I love the fact that Yang has gotten the bottle. Void, not necessarily a hero that could actually just walk away from the lane and get runes, like Morphling did last game, for example. And that means he's going to have all of these runes to himself.
Righty. Well, going to be, like you say, runes for the side lanes can be very effective with the bottle, and see a pretty even CS battle so far between Sylar and Fear. No rotations yet. You mentioned the Tusk can, but does feel like his attention is tied up top because they do need to secure this Tinker farm. Are you at all concerned about Tinker not getting that much experience? Normally this is a hero that is in a solo lane, and as a
very much so
lane, he's under level.
Because when you, let's say, do poorly in a lane stage as a Tinker, you could still go back in the jungle and just march your way with farm, but you need high levels of march with that. And he's only level 3 right now, so I do believe that one of the EG cores needs to, let's say, do a lane switch. Maybe Void hits 6, and then he comes up for a gank, and then Tinker now goes bottom.
Yep. If and when that might happen here. Casca bottom, bouncing between 2 nicely. ET wanted to go for the stop. He's going to get pulled back in by the charge. The stop going to hit a couple here, but it's a snowball dodge. Crit making the plays there, saving what would have been a very bad situation if he didn't dodge that stop. That would have hit at least 2, and now they may be able to get a follow-up kill here. Ice Shards in a couple of seconds, but he's going to tango back to the tower, which will get him back to safety. Potential stop, though. Maybe they chased a bit too far. Crit will have a snowball here, but doesn't look like he's going to need it. Nor will he want to necessarily go aggressive yet, but with a cast, he might do so. Nice bounce between the two. He gets another kill. It bounces back still. Reflection coming out as well. Great play from the support duo of EG, but Crit could be still going down. One more right click. He salves. He stays alive with the salve. Really nicely done.
A very different look from the two EG supports. Last game, both Crit and Misery were very silent, and this game, right from the get-go, they're doing a lot, winning that top just off really superior mechanical play.
Yeah, just perfect spell usage from the cask as well as Snowball. Dodging ET stuns, getting perfect, like that was 2 casts in a row that hit only heroes and got maximum bounces with the level 2 cast. Mid lane, we are seeing pressure coming out from Sylar. He popped the Dragon Form just for some tower harass. Had the Siege Creep as well to chip away. Meanwhile, top lane though, TB trapped inside, needs to be careful, has a reflection, but he's going to be brought down again. EG support setting up kills.
And it looks like we are going to see a lane switch. Dragon Knight now ports to the top lane.
Mid lane. Rotation from Tiny. Fear has Spirit Siphons. He gets out too, though, so looking like he'll be okay here. And he's, oh no, regen on the Tiny. That's Fear who will be forced back either to Shrine or to Fountain, I imagine.
But still, though, I feel like the EG support are actually affecting the map much more so. Now, Sumail, for example, gets a free lane to farm on the bottom. Fear gets free farm in the mid lane. This is just off of winning top. This is generally how EG is able to have these really greedy 3-core lineups. Their support just show up and just win lanes.
Yep. See where they go next. Potential smoke coming out. Yeah, smoke on the Courier. The two supports are hugging around each other. If that means they're going to eye off something like this mid lane. With Death Prophet having ultimate, a kill into a tier 1 would be kind of an ideal way to play this 7-minute mark. Exorcism available. TV's in mid as well, so a gank mid actually finds the Terrorblade. Potentially a bigger kill than the DK anyways. The hero you want to be shutting down. He already has been shut down, but
yes,
shut him down further. Terrorblade
does have a 17 charge magic wand, so I think that might give him enough time to get some TP support, but we'll see.
No, there's a lot of damage here. Fear not even needing the ultimate. They've got Maledict and everything. He gets annihilated as AO TP's in. Didn't actually have any points in the grave anyways.
He just got completely changed on Misery, really microing that cask. Doing very well.
They get the D ward on the Dire, Observer ward in mid as well. Fear didn't even need to pop the ultimate. Still has it if he wants to go for this tower, but perhaps will be reluctant to pop it without a good creep wave. All 3 lanes going decently for EG. Dragon Knight is very farm though. Sylar popping another Dragon Form, chipping onto the top tier 1 tower now. As Fade will scout out Crit's rotation up there as well.
Despite DK being farm, I'm pretty sure VGJ will gladly trade his farm for Freeze's farm. I think Terrorblade...
Chronosphere bottom. Sumail's going to go for it with a level 2 Maledict. Believe they've got the damage. He has got the 1. He's going to need to pop that for some heal. Yang, does he go for it yet? Pops it. Now he's still ticking, and that Maledict will finish him off. Yang should be dead here. Yeah. He dies, and great play from EG again.
I think if he tread swap and then pop the wands, it might have been close. It's hard to say.
Yeah, but I mean, he may have survived the Maledict, but then probably gets chased down anyways. 4 points in Time Walk means it's a very short cooldown.
A complete opposite start here from the last game. So EG up 5-1, and honestly, they do more with that kind of lead. Now Tinker is a impending doom essentially. He gets to free farm in this jungle.
Yep, he's had stacks for him, so while he was a little bit under leveled, he's still level 6 9 minutes in. He's got stacks, he's got 2 points in March, didn't get too many points in his first 2 spells, which is maybe what you sometimes want when you're fighting tri-lane versus tri-lane, but I think recognize, maybe we don't get a kill, but I'm going to be able to get a faster boot to travel.
Yeah, this is the Radiant Poor Man Triangle. Not actually a triangle.
It's what, a little rectangle, a straight line? Whatever you're going to call it.
It's stacked enough though to be the pseudo triangle.
Well, he's got the Soul Ring with the rearm, so making sure he gets rearm at level 6. I guess one of the nice things, you're getting farm but not levels when you're in a tri-lane. So able to make sure he has a fast Soul Ring and then can find some experience and additional farm in the jungle.
Bottom side, they're looking to go here for Sumail. Toss back into a stun. Do they have enough damage? Not close. Sumail's going to just jump away.
They're still chasing. Sylar wants to tip at this tower, it looks like, but without Chronosphere, EG are going to be perhaps reluctant to fight bottom until that is back up. But Misery, not, he's back. He's saving a skill point. Could go for a 3rd point in Maledict, but I think that will get him a kill. The scan will come out. Not sure if they realize Misery's down here or not. They may just think that the scan's clipping Sumail.
There's an Invis Tiny coming through though. He could clip behind the tower and maybe toss Sumail into Sylar, but again, that cask is right there waiting.
Yep, and EG just scanned them. Mid lane, meanwhile, Fear popped the exit. He knows that VGJ are focusing on this bottom lane, so he's going to make sure they get a tower themselves. Sumail says, get me out, but Yang invised up. Does he go for this kill? The toss back?
Oh, out of range.
Went for the turn, but yep, was out of range. Like you say, the DK was just not quite close enough for it.
Mid lane, the clap is going to slow down the push, but there's nothing they could save to do to save this tier 1. They do trade tier 1s, but obviously EG getting the much more important one.
Yeah.
And again, the most important thing is RTZ just left alone right now. Complete free farm.
Oh, they found Misery. He came out of the trees, and there was still 3 VGJ heroes bottom, which obviously was something Misery did not expect. He thought they had left that lane. And Speaking of leaving lanes, Boots of Travel is up. Tinker can now leave the top lane. He can go wherever he wants. He can combo with Sumail's Void Chronosphere incredibly well at this point.
Yep. So there's a very small timing window left for VGJ.Thunder to finish that Shadow Blade on Dragon Knight and just set up ganks all over the Tinker before he gets Blink Dagger. Because once the Blink Dagger comes online, then VGJ just needs to miraculously catch RTZ. It's going to be tough.
The crazy thing about this game is it's, as much as it feels largely about the Tinker, it's not necessarily Void. Sumail, offlane player, going for a Battle Fury. Death Prophet in the mid lane also has his top 2 net worth.
Yeah.
These other cores are very scary right now. Tinker, caught out at combo, the snowball dodge. Crit says, no problemo. Here's Tusk. I mean, Tusk has been the hero of this tournament.
Tusk and ET.
Yes.
ET this game not really showing his powers.
Both being featured here, and right now it is Tusk with the upper hand. Mid lane potentially could be defended with a Chronosphere. Sumail has a TP if he wants to go in. Tinker with Boots of Travel as well, so damage output potentially there.
They want to fight this. Here we go.
Boy, TP in there, already got the snowball here. Dragon Knight in the front lines. The stop is there, but DK's already dead. He thought he would be safe with a potential Shadow Blade escape, but he was still underneath the tower.
Yeah, the shard kept him there, so that was a really beautiful shard.
I think he saw there, it was like, oh, there's no dust, you know, there was a center of Witch Doctor, maybe he didn't even realize, but very likely the Shadow Blade could have just meant that he lives because there was no detection yet for EG.
I mean, generally as a Dragon Knight, 10 minutes, 12 minutes into the game, you can expect to make those type of plays and generally survive because of how tanky you are, but EG bringing 4, and now immediately smoke up.
And Sumail TPing in as well, so even if, and that's the other thing, if VGJ.Thunder tried to turn it around, well, suddenly there's a Chronosphere with a Tinker, and it gets pretty ugly. Who are they looking for? Is it Terrorblade the primary target?
Yeah.
Not that he's up here. Expecting him to be in the jungle, which is true, but wrong jungle.
VGJ now will make a counter smoke of their own.
Got some wards to put down, well, a singular ward, not the best vision. Perhaps that's something that could have gotten even deeper into the jungle. Like they're gonna... Oh no, they brought out another kid. Now they've got the deep ward here with a sentry.
Sumail will be, I think, the biggest catch here. Get him before he finishes Battle Fairy, but...
You got also, if you want to take a team fight, you need to make sure you try and kill the Void first, because his Chronosphere will win EG fights.
I mean, the thing is, like, you can commit everything onto Void, and then Crit comes in with a snowball, and that could be bad. Mid lane.
Snowball in, Tiny's been initiated on Maledicted up as well. This Blink is not going to get you out of this one. Here, picking up the kill, and EG have everything going their way in this game. It's a sub 1k gold lead, but it really does feel like a ton of momentum for EG. Their lineup hasn't even well and truly come online, with Tinker being a kind of a mid-game oriented hero, Void going for a Battle Fury. EG's greed just hasn't been punished.
Yeah. Is there any way that you think VGJ could outscale this lineup?
I think they can scale very well. Dragon Knight, Terrorblade, I mean, Tiny even, a pseudo carry as well. So I think there is scaling potential. I think where they struggle is, how do you catch Tinker? That's always going to be the big question. If they get some wards, if they catch him with like the Tinker wards, sure, they can win fights if they manage to latch on.
And as the team fight begins, it's not just about catching the Tinker, but how do you catch the Tinker and deal with Chronosphere? How do you catch Tinker with Chronosphere backup and Snowball backup? Just more and more problems stacked on each other.
I think the Void is, to me, the reason why EG's draft is going to look better late game. Chronosphere, one of the best spells in the late game, and the Void is not being played like an off-lane Void. He's been playing like a late game carry Void, so EG with like the extra late game influence there because of Sumail's build that he's gotten away with. He hasn't needed to go for utility items.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
VGJ, when in doubt, you could group up and push. That's 5, but against a Tinker, that's also a problem.
And now with the Tinker Blink, that's gonna not be as easy to do. Perhaps with the Spirit, you can always find him in the trees a bit easier. Be a nice tool to have. Top lane, Dragon Knight's TP'd in here. This could be
They don't have enough damage to kill DK.
Yeah, with Witch Doctor they do, I'd say.
Oh, I guess a Tinker too, don't forget about that.
Oh yeah. Dragon Knight will back off, and it looks like EG going to try and use their positioning as well as their wards to take a fight here. They go snowballing and recognizing ET dead means this tower is also dead. Tier 2 should be easy pickings for them. Siege creep even alive as well. Any chance of a high ground push? This feels way too early for that, but...
It does. EG is going to respawn relatively soon, so I think EG is better off just farming the enemy jungle. I'd like to see if one of the EG support could pick up a Medallion of Courage. I feel like they have enough map momentum that with the next kill or something, they could just pop the Exorcism for Roshan if they like.
Yeah. Witch Doctor does have 1,000 gold if they want to prioritize it there. Tusk has a Blink Dagger. I think the Blink on Tusk is better investment because of how important the Snowball save is and how well he's used it. The Blink just makes it that much easier.
It really does start to feel like that if VGJ is going to be able to win team fights, it's off of outplays, which is not something you could count on. I feel that maybe if they could get off a pretty clutch Thunder, maybe they could have a shot winning these fights, but...
By the way, Terrorblade going for a Mask of Madness build, which really does signal that maybe they don't want to take this approach, but they are going to go late game against CG. They just need to catch up.
This is just a farming Mask of Madness, not necessarily a fighting one.
It's his version of the Arteezy Battle Fury on Terrorblade.
Although, to be frank, I think the Battle Fury might just be better.
Yeah. This may have been a game, if he felt more comfortable in the Battle Fury build or had played it before, he may have actually been very justified in going for it.
Obviously, the difference is that you can disassemble your Mask of Madness into eventually the Satanic and Butterfly, but you gotta survive up to that point, which is a big issue here.
It is gonna turn into a farming war of sorts here, and it's where the vision can really come in key. EG with some good aggressive wards in the enemy jungle. VGJ with some nice aggressive wards themselves, but it doesn't really feel like EG's ever in that area. EG are the ones pushing out these lanes, playing on the top side of the map, and that's something which VGJ are not equipped to deal with.
They do have a Tinker ward on the south side of the map as well, but that falls into the same category of, great, we see the Tinker farming there. All right, let's farm as well. Here we go, Dragon Knight finds Sumail.
Oh, he's been walking into a sentry. He's going to get gone on it initially. Sumail in trouble. He gets bursted before he can time walk on Chrono. That's a great start to the fight for VGJ. Tiny next to the firing line, being graved up. Can he get out of this one? No TP means no easy escape for him. Up to the north, it's Fear. Perhaps being focused down. The Metamorphosis offering a ton of damage. No Thunder available. He's silenced himself with the Mask of Madness. It doesn't matter. He's tearing them apart. Misery surviving on a sliver of health until that last bit of damage coming out from Fade. 3 dead on EG's side, all off of a great initiation under the Void.
Crit has Shard available, but he gets stunned and he's going to get brought down. Crit will snowball to the low ground. He still has Shard available. Excuse me, he doesn't. It's huge Magic Wand though. One right click, Magic Wand.
Still want this kill.
Okay, Shard in 1 second.
Can he deny himself? No.
And that is going to be, what, 4 kills in that engagement?
And EG had the sentry. The Dragon Knight got spotted going in.
And he even got bashed.
He just got the Dragon Tail off in the Void, was that what it was? And then it set up like the ET spell?
The Tiny came in. The Tiny came in and set up the ET spell.
Yeah, that blink on Tiny proving to be crucial.
Yeah. You can see how important Sumail's role is in this game. If he gets off a Chrono, the fight won't be even close.
Yep. Mail moved from that one and proven to be devastating for them. Yangapon going for a 4-star, very much it was an offlane Tiny. He's not taking the Sumail approach to the offlane and going for like core transition, like carry transition items. He's just full on going for the utility for the time being.
Really reminds me of the sexy Bamble school of thought. Just get every mobility item in the book and just, go kill people.
Yep. Oh, Tusk did not get the blink. He ended up getting Medallion, which really does point fingers towards Roshan for EG. See if they are able to take that. Perhaps the next Exorcism. They had such good map control. They still do have decent map control. They lost their one Deep Observer ward. If anything, it's VGJ who have the better aggressive wards for the current state of the game. But also ET has a Rod of Atos. Decent item for catching and locking down a Tinker, or just setting up your spells in general.
Yep.
Also fantastic against Void.
Very good against Faceless Void. I think Void needs to itemize against this. The Blink Dagger helps a lot, actually. You could just, dodge that Rod of Atos.
Yep. Imagine we may see, like, Manta style, or BKB, that's the same thing as well, coming out. EG do not lack damage. I think that's the important thing for Sumail to realize. Yes, you've got a Battle Fury and you can farm well, but you don't need to carry the game by building damage to dish out in a Chronosphere. You've got a Death Prophet, you've got a Tinker, you've got a Witch Doctor even. There is ample amounts of damage to be dealt already.
We did see how quickly Fear dropped though as he charged in that last engagement. Really needs to watch his positioning. Did pick up the plate mail. That helps a lot against Terrorblade, and now they're trying to set up for this Roshan.
Dumail, he's smoked up, perhaps looking for a pick first.
Ayo's gonna break the smoke.
Not the biggest loss, but should be enough to set up Roshan. Goes for the Grave DP, will get cancelled, and we'll see a dead Dazzle, which even though just a 5 position is probably enough to deter VGJ from either fighting or contesting a potential Rosh.
Yeah, I do think that Thunder needs pretty much all 5 heroes. That weave in particular is very important for one scouting the Roshan.
And he's about to get a bottled DD now. Do like that. They're not getting the Rosh Lumi. They're still scared of VGJ right now.
I guess if you're crowded into the pit and you just get stomped by Fade, that can just set up for all sorts of bad things.
Yeah, ET has got to be like one of those top 5 Rosh contesting heroes. So good around the pit with long-range scouting and also the ability to disrupt enemies going for Rosh and buy time for your team to arrive.
And like you pointed out earlier, Tiny going for the full utility build. I think that because your job is pretty much catch Tinker, I think this is actually going to get you more utility this game than the standard, you know, Blink SNY AC build from offlane Tiny.
Alrighty, well, right now a bit of a showdown in the mid lane. Neither team willing to commit until now as VGJ have smoked up, looking to start a fight here. Smoke pops the mid lane by Fear. He's back to the high ground as quickly as possible. It looks like Yang, even though his smoke popped, he did not have any vision any further. It was EG who had the high ground ward in the mid lane, so they immediately...
Oh, this ward's gonna see Misery. I think Avalanche is gonna cancel that TP. Force though, he's in a bad position. Misery, can he drop off his cast before he dies? Ayo's gonna seal that kill with the Shadow Wave.
Yeah. I don't think that's a big enough kill to get Rosh here, but
well, they're
maybe see them try.
They have a double damage. Don't forget about that.
Yeah. DD picked up and bottled earlier
This is really risky for VGJ.
Even with the double damage, I agree, but the thing is EG may not know he's got this double damage. Rosh is going to drop incredibly fast.
Yeah. Shard's going to check
goes in. Tinker's up top here. I think they're actually going to kill Rosh fast enough, and EG not contesting this. I think the big thing is here for EG, if yes, you can maybe get there in time, but do you want to fight into a DD Terrorblade with Grave backing him up? I don't think you can.
I don't think they even have vision of the Terrorblade, so I'm not sure if they even know that he has Grave or not, so... Or rather, double damage or not.
You could get him in a Chronosphere, but chances are, Dazzle, you stand outside the pit to the north side, you get that Grave off. You're always going to be able to get that Grave on a Terrorblade, and it's very unlikely Dazzle gets caught in the Chronosphere.
So what started as a massive lead for EG early on, it feels like Thunder is kind of inching themselves back into this game. I still think that EG is somewhat ahead in these engagements because the Tinker issue has not been solved in Chronosphere.
Yep. Saves Crypt for the time being as they do bring down the... Oh, are they going to bring down the other time? The Grave is there. Fear going to pop the Exorcism as well. Sylar getting lasered up. The miss is there, and Fear charging forward with Arteezy's help. Brings down Yang. Couple more die for the VGJ side as Sylar has to drop the stun to get himself out of there, but Arteezy still with a decent amount of mana. Could look for the kill on Sylar, but does not want to dive further. And that's still a tier 1.
That's a 10-second BKB on Sylar, essentially wasted just to survive. I guess waste is a strong word. He needed it to survive, and you always...
Great use of like the cooldowns there. No Metamorph, they knew that VGJ could not fight. They fought into what was effectively a TB Aegis, but the TB without Metamorph is not going to do anything.
Yep.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Very good warding here. This Observer Ward has been blocking the camp for a long time now, which is a quite obvious Observer Ward, but at the same time, there's so much things going on right now. The supports just taxed.
Yep. Any unexpected items does it look like? Tinker going for a Hex seems pretty standard. TB does queue up a BKB, something you have to normally get earlier than... Oh, I mean, you have to get against Tinker when otherwise Terrorblade normally does not build BKB.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just don't do any damage against the laser.
Between Tinker forcing them to get the BKB and then the Faceless Void Chrono making those BKB somewhat useless, EG's got a pretty nice strategy. You generally can't really afford these kind of super greedy cores playing together, but again, this has been the EG strategy overall in this particular tournament.
Well, the TB BKB versus Tinker always feels bad because you're BKBing so you can do damage, but it doesn't help you kill the Tinker if your supports don't catch him, because TB has no ability to catch or kill Tinker.
Not only that, the BKB doesn't protect your illusions, which will just get the Aghanim laser and rocket it down.
Well, Crit, despite the medallion pickup, has still almost completed his Blink Dagger. Unfortunately, the medallion did not lead into a Roche for them. VGJ with Aegis and Metamorph back up. They want to push. This looks likely to be a couple of towers up top. I don't know if EG want to fight this one. They've got a Chronosphere, but unless they can catch like key heroes like Dragon Knight and Dazzled and Chronosphere, they can't really take a fight very easily.
It's a bad position to take a fight.
Yeah, Sylar pops the Dragon Form, looking to Shadow Blade initiate here.
Oh, that's a Tinker.
Behind the tower, they're tossed back. Not the ideal target they get just so it's up. Do they get the stop onto the boy? Okay, rooted up to fall. Snowballed in forward. Time walks back defensively. I don't think he wants to take this fight. The problem is for EG, they're losing their supports. Any chance of this fight has definitely been removed by their supports going down.
Yang is absolutely carrying his team right now. He's playing like a ninja. Blinked in first, found the Witch Doctor, so toss him right on top of DK. That's a quick kill, and then after that, blinked in again to find another. This is what offlane Tiny's dream to be.
Yep. The tier 2 tower going down. Metamorph won't last for too much longer, so I imagine this is all VGJ will get with this meta. And the big question again is, like we saw last time, what do EG do now? They don't care about the Aegis, they care about the Metamorph cooldown, and they have a chance to take the fight to VG Gaming now, considering Metamorph will be on cooldown.
Yeah, the nice thing for that strategy is that because you have a Tinker, the waves are always pushed. So when you smoke across the map, you're generally fighting into the Thunder area, where if you do win a team fight, you're likely going to get a ton of objectives from it.
It looks like EG are perhaps grouping around this mid lane. They've got a smoke on Witch Doctor. I think they know we just lost a lot of ground on our side of the map, so there's very likely aggressive wards up. But Misery dewarding shows he has a smoke. And hey, EG just fought you when Metamorph is down. What are they going to do this time? Probably try and fight you again. So I imagine VGJ are going to be playing and positioning very defensively. Tiny tosses a creep for a last hit and then instantly blinks to his tier 2. I feel like this smoke, as much as it's the right idea for EG, is unlikely to actually achieve much.
Well, the scan is not going to catch anything. They're going to walk right into the shrine.
Oh, if they waited a second longer for that scan, it may have actually caught EG.
Like you said, Thunder absolutely is aware of this. They're going to just stand so far behind.
Yeah, catch them or not, you're hugging tier 3s right now. ET, they're grouped up as forwards. They're just leaving TB to push with his illusions.
Yep.
And also importantly, TB's Aegis is gone, so...
I think they're just baiting Yang. They're like saying, look, if you go on Yang right here, we have the Stomp to back him up, we have Grave and Weave.
And I think Sumail similarly knows this. He sees Yang, but he's like, well, he's hugging a tier 3. I think he might have teammates behind him. Spirit constantly trying to scout. They see Terrorblade though. Okay, maybe. A risk. Okay, forced up to the high ground.
And of course, Tiny was also looking for a toss back to start the fight. It is just, it feels like it's two chess grandmasters trying to one-up each other here. And
at the same time, both of them know like all the opening moves and know exactly what their opponents are going to do. Because VGJ react perfectly to what EG do, and similarly EG understand that Tiny, he's bait. We know what you're doing.
I think this is probably one of the sweetest part of Dota games, just watching two top teams just dancing back and forth.
Another scan. They smoke now that they've got Metamorph. Both teams understand their timings perfectly. The EG smoke when they're strong, they don't find a kill because VGJ know it. Now VGJ go for a smoke and EG know they don't want to fight. Very much a game of cat and mouse, but it's not clear who is the cat, or it's going back and forth.
Here's the thing though, both teams could just assault a tier 2 tower whenever they want. One team would Exorcism, the other team would Metamorph, but you might get the tower. At the same time, it comes with a great risk because your spells are going to be off cooldown. Neither team really taking a chance on anything.
Yeah, in some ways it doesn't feel worth it to commit those key spells like Metamorph and Exorcism for tier 2s.
Yeah, a measly tier 2.
It puts yourself in a very vulnerable position. I saw an interesting item earlier. We've got one. Sylar has an Orchid on Dragon Knight.
Okay. I feel like it's a very excellent scaling item to begin with, and Sumail now with this Lincoln Sphere, you just need some way to break it, and that will be the way to break it, and of course you could just Dragon Tail afterwards.
Yep. Does look like EG are going to forfeit their bottom tier 2. One key spell being used in the Dragon form, but it's not the Metamorph, which is perhaps the bigger one to have in a team fight.
And I think VGJ will be able to force EG to TP back to defend with Sylar showing bottom. With 2 siege units, these 2 siege units is going to do quite a bit of work. There's that TP.
No creep wave to support him, but yeah, TP from Tinker coming out. See what EG look to do. I don't think the Dragon form is a big enough spell to tempt them into any kind of a big fight.
Oh, I love Yang's positioning. Just, he understands his role. He's gonna scout, look for kills.
TP back to his team now, I think recognizing, all right, damage is done. We've put some pressure on bottom. Let's fall back now. Definitely part of a game where vision is going to be key. We see really good Radiant vision. Both jungles as well as the mid lane being warded. Very much gears them up to go for this Roshan, which has respawned now. The dangerous thing is if you throw an Exorcism to go for Rosh, you may get the Aegis and Cheese, but often what you see against teams that with Death Prophet that take Roshan is you have an Aegis and the other team still fights into you at the Roshan pit because that Exorcism has worn off.
Teams are getting really smart with that. What they like to do is start the Roshan, and once Rosh is about half HP where you expect the enemy team to challenge you, then you pop the DPO.
Sure.
So you kind of double dip. You use that DPO for the Roshan and also for the fight afterwards.
And talk about the Radiant Vision. Dire, similarly, vision in both side lanes, deep on the enemy map and the mid lane. I think teams recognizing where the key kind of entry points that fights could break out from are going to be. A lot of action around this mid lane because of Roshan. See if there's going to be any kind of initiation. Arteezy happy to just reveal himself, throw some missiles as EG look to chip away at this tier 2 tower.
That rocket immediately gave away that there's a ward, so...
Ah, yeah, dewarded. That's not really worth it in a sense, but this feels like the stage of the game where you want to buy a gem because of how key the vision is going to be.
Yeah.
And picking up, I mean, I guess it's all about who is going to carry it. I mean, whether it's a Tusk or a Dazzle, ET, vision is just going to decide some of these fights. EG, Exorcism for Roshan, they feel like they've got good info as far as where heroes are on the map, and VGJ are not in a position to contest this one. Free Roshan, uncontested, no punish like we talked about could happen after an Exorcism.
Yeah, this is where just having Tinker in your team is 100% the reason why you got that Aegis.
Yep. Lotus Orb for Yang. Hex no longer dispellable. But I guess you can Hex the Tinker if you get the Echo for it.
Sure.
But definitely no longer is juicy of an item to get against a Tinker.
By the way, they put the Aegis on Sumail, understanding that he's probably the most important part of the team fight. We still haven't really seen a big Chronosphere yet, and that's just testament to how well VGJ.Thunder has been playing around it. But should that Chrono ever come, it is a disastrous fight.
You still of the feeling like EG have, for the most part, the better late game, and VGJ are going to have to outplay them?
Yep, I agree with that. With Sumail also picking up that talent at level 20, just extending that initiation range is also very critical for this part of the game.
Does, again, highlight the fact they aren't lacking damage. It all comes down to getting those better initiations. We'll be seeing very likely some level 25 talents, potentially extra Chronosphere AoE. I feel like this is a game where you may want that Chronosphere AoE more than the backtrack.
I agree. It does feel like, especially with the way that Void is itemizing with the BKB next, it's this road just to drop the Chrono and hit as many targets as possible.
Yeah. I mean, Tinker will always provide damage output in spades.
And in this game, you ideally want to catch the core and the Dazzle behind the core, so any bit of extra AoE is welcome.
Dazzle need that Aether Lens. Oh, he's got Blink queued up. That's even better than the Aether Lens in that sense.
This is the good old, I'm going to sit in my base and watch the fight develop.
Got the Force Staff too, but Blink a bit more reliable. Force Staff perhaps a bit more for pushing teammates in and out of fights.
This is actually one of the very few games you see Dazzle itemizing like as such.
Yeah. This this reminds me of like those really tense TI Chinese Dota games where it's a game of keep away.
I mean, this is the grand finals, right? Both teams are, or rather, the Chinese team is playing very, very slow and defensive.
I think, I mean, EGR as well, in a sense, like they recognize when they could and could not fight.
I mean, like we said, this is the grand final, but what's at stake here? If EG loses this one, they're 0-2.
Yes.
And there's only a few handful of reverse sweeps in Dota history, so.
TB with Crystallis are going for pure single target right-click damage. Not a very common item on Terrorblade. Normally it's much more stat-heavy butterflies, Skadis, but I guess this is a game where you need to maximize your damage output during BKB.
It's also because you can't rely on illusions at all. They will just get blinded. So I think this is the absolute correct choice, just to go for the pure right-click damage and basically rely on your BKB to carry you through it.
Is he going for this kill? Sylar Shadowbladed towards Sumail up top. With a Bloodthorn, his single target damage output is pretty scary. Problem is, he can only get either the stun or the Bloodthorn. He can't get both against the Lincoln.
He needs both, so he needs somebody else to break that Lincoln.
I don't think any Boots of Travel were up to join him as well. It would have been, yeah, there was no solo kill potential there as much as he may have been looking like he was going for.
I see a fight here.
Yep, there's a Dire Ward, Radiant Ward. Well, initiation, blinking from Yang, finds the Tusk, who gets the snowball immediately. The Terrorblade going in, looks to burst down the void and succeeds in doing so. Fear needs to be careful. He's getting a lot of damage from the Terrorblade. There's the BKB, the Earth Spear bouncing around as well. And it does look like they're going to settle for just the one loss. Back to the south side, Sylar has found Sumail. He gets brought down now. As Terrorblade hexed up, trying to chase him down. I think Fear needs to be careful, even with Exorcism up. Still very likely to go down.
Rod of Atos, he's gonna slow one down here. Crit's gonna blink away. Do they have any more catch? Crit is gonna TP out safely.
Oh, they caught a glimpse of him, but tiny for Void. They fought into an Aegis, killed Sumail twice. Terrorblade is just so scary with that Metamorphosis, and the other nice thing was DK still had a bit of Dragon Form left at the start of that fight.
Yeah, and we are starting to see the weakness, or one of the weakness of the EG draft is that you just need somebody to sit in the front line, and it cannot be Faceless Void. If Faceless Void in the front line, they will just control and kill him regardless of how many lives he has. But who's going to be that front line person for EG?
Yep. See if EG look to keep on fighting. They do find the Elder Titan here, take the Arcane.
He's got the Force Staff.
Yep. That's where the Ice Shards can kind of work against you, but he still gets brought down thanks to a force in by EG. And now the Ice Shards coming out once again. Sylar's trapped on the wrong side of him. He's got no BKB for another second. Pops it now. No, could use the Dragon Ball. Made a 6.
Look at the damage!
Whoa! That's Bloodthorn.
Yeah, just 3 shots. And his BKB though is running out.
Oh,
nice defensive Force Staff. The snowball's coming in. That might just be a free kill. No, he blinks out. Crit. Just too fast. Now Yang is on the chase.
Uh-oh, got him with the Yules. Where's the backup? Toss back into a reflection. TZ comes in. 3-man laser. He could be in trouble. The BKB from Terrorblade there. The Cronus here as well. TB not caught inside for the lasers there. Brave will save the Tiny. Keeps himself alive. Can they bring him down with the Spirit Siphon? They will. EG take out 2. Looking for the TP. Oh, they're going to get him. He's dead. No Sunder from the Terrorblade.
Sylar.
As he goes down. Fear invis up. Sylar will get the first kill. Can he find more? Gets the stun on Sumail. The Lincolns was not up. Sylar though still needs to get out. Has a Bloodthorn in a couple of seconds. Can he get Sumail? Not sure he wants to turn and fight. He's so goddamn slow. He can't move. Crit's there as well. Can't get the Lincolns. He gets the silence out. Oh no, Sumail! He may be dead. He's silenced. The Bloodthorn will finish him all.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Back and forth they go, and Sylar, he's the last dragon standing. They're gonna push mid lane. I don't think they have enough damage to take the Roshan, but they sure will have enough to take at least the tier 2. But look at Tinker. Tinker's already cutting waves up top, so you gotta make a decision.
That fight started so well for EG, and it looked like, I mean, they killed the Terror, but it looked like the Dragonet could go down, but the Tinker kind of disappeared from the fight, as you, at some point you have to, because you run out of mana.
Yeah.
I think that was the point where Sumail's like, well, I can keep on chasing, and I eventually will kill him, right? I got a Tinker alive, but it takes a while to actually regen up and get back in that fight. I don't think he had a creep wave as well to TP to, so Sumail got left on his own, and VGJ got to be at least content with the outcome, even though it wasn't a big win for them.
Sure. both teams starting the fight with very chaotic nature, where Terrorblade couldn't really deal damage because he didn't have Metamorph. And I do believe that EG was missing one or two of their key spells as well.
Even Dragon Knight, he pops his BKB but didn't have his Dragon form initially. Like, both VGJ carries didn't get to like properly play their heroes in that fight. EG, similar-ish thing with like the Void. I mean, Chronosphere comes in and felt very, very chaotic.
Parker, we've been seeing a couple of these fights develop, and I'm going to re-ask you that question that I asked earlier. Is VGJ going to outscale EG?
I don't know about outscale, but they can take them late game. They've got the items. All of their cores, or the two main cores, DK and TB, have itemized perfectly for this game, it feels like.
Especially Freeze.
Freeze. Itemizing such that he doesn't care about illusions. He's not going stats. He's purely relying on his main hero to do single target damage. Dragon Knight, similar thing, very late game oriented. MKB with Bloodthorn.
Oh, here comes the smoke on smoke action. Radiant has a ward, and that ward might make all the difference. What a throw!
Okay, there's a weave coming in as well. He's got a great, he can save his life if he needs to, but the Dazzle can't really get into this fight too well. Silas gonna turn, taking out the Void. He wants more. He's got the BKB up. Yan getting chipped away up by the Tinker. Tinker on the high ground doing some good damage. Tiny goes chasing for it, but he needs to be careful. Arteezy gets the Hex, brings down the Tiny. It's TB meanwhile on his own.
It's a 2-for-1 engagement. Crit is on the chase, but look at the damage from Freeze.
Has a snowball, but he's silenced up. Dragon Knight and TB, the two main carries for VGJ, are still alive.
They checked the Roshan, it's not up just yet. Unlucky for EG. I'm sure they would have want that refresher shard. Would have really made all the difference. I mean, imagine having a second Chronosphere or an Exorcism in these engagements.
This is definitely a game where refresher shard will be game-changing for either team. Double Metamorph is crazy. Double Chronosphere, like you mentioned, double Exorcism. These big game-deciding spells, having two of them, well, you're suddenly in a really nice position. Unfortunately for EG, they do not get the Rotary spawn quite yet. And a minute 43, TB's Metamorph is up in a minute 43.
They're going to try to pressure, maybe force out a buyback. Just getting some very good deep wards for now. Uh-oh, Sylar walking up a hill. He's really on his own.
Yep, needs to be careful. Doesn't have the Dragon form for a little bit as well. Level 25's approaching for him. Did get the double regen armor at level 20 on Dragon Knight, as it's kind of become mostly customary. Need crazy level 25s here.
Nothing I'm catching yet, but there is one craziness, is that Crit has bought himself an Aeon Disc.
Nice.
Which is not an item you see on Tusk too much, but just him surviving long enough. If he ever gets off a snowball, which he will always do with the Aeon Disc, he just blinks away from the fight. So
this allows him to like blink in to initiate and not risk himself just instantly getting deleted. Lane Silas enters up. He's in the Arcane Room, pops his ulti form, knowing that. And EG looking to just hold the top side of the Roshan pit. They've got great vision in this dire jungle, and this is just an area that VGJ cannot enter without a smoke.
And also the waves are fairly pushed in, surprisingly for Thunder, so with Roshan spawning very soon, I think there's a good chance that Thunder could just sneak it like the way that they did earlier.
This Arcane Rune on DK doesn't find all too much. Is good just knowing that you're going to have that Dragon form almost immediately when it expires. EG continue to play around their vision. But VGJ, they even scan this. They're constantly throwing the Astral Spirit as well. They're not going to go anywhere near that hill. They'll continue to stay on EG's side. They want to make sure that they're in a position to not let EG get this Roshan. This Rosh fight and potential refresher is the game right now.
The tension right now, I feel it.
As you said, these lanes being pushed out. I think Tinker perhaps too afraid to go back and defend, worried about DK or Elder Titan catching him out.
Also, if your Tinker is just not in the fight could be over before your Tinker even ports back in it, because it feels like these fights are being decided very rapidly.
I mean, I feel like these teams forgot which side they're on. Like, EG, are you guys Dire and VGJ Radiant? What's going on here?
Freeze trying to hit the tier 3, but there's backdoor protection, so...
And Arteezy's creep skipping waves.
I mean, both teams are creep skipping waves right now.
VGJ are like, well, you want to play an outside, we're going to push high ground. Oh, wait, we can't. and the standoff continues.
I mean, having a Tinker's gotta be helpful, right, in this occasion?
Oh, Yang gets hexed up, he's been initiated on. Force up away.
Oh!
Misses the Chronosphere. This is disastrous for EG. They need to rely on the Tinker now to deal damage. Both BKBs being used. Misery getting burst down by the Terrorblade. Full retreat for EG. They cannot fight. Fear just wants to get out and save his ultimate, but he's being chased. He's got no mobility here. The Yule's giving him some movement. Being going for the TP. Where's the stun? Fear gets hit by the Dragon Tail. Brought down, 3 dead. Roshan belongs to Vici Gaming. Should they so choose to go for it?
Yeah, they need to worry about the waves first. You can see immediately Dazzle ports back up top, defending himself against the 2 siege units.
Tinker kill him potentially if he wants to go for it.
I think so. Well, if he has enough mana.
They're not going for Roche. They're going for the base, Lumi. You could get. I feel like Roche is bigger than like one lane of Rax, but if you can win the game off of this push, then yeah, definitely worth it.
Given how important the creep wave is, and maybe the Raxes are more important, but it's going to be a tough push. They just don't have a creep wave, so backdoor protection now being
going in. They want Tinker. They're going to get the Tusk instead. Toss him back. Snowball was used. Gonna get the blink out. Great plays from Crit. Just buying time for his team. Sylar even BKBs for this.
And because VGJ.Thunder went for the tower, they're not getting anything, and they might not even get Roshan. VGJ needs to get back right now.
We talked about the late game decision making yesterday with VGJ and how it kind of led to EG's comeback. This feels like one of those moments. Roshan should have been the go-to after that teamfight victory. They may still get it.
Yeah, they have so much damage right now with this Terrorblade. Which, by the way, Terrorblade got himself a Blink Dagger. And I think the idea with this item is that he's blinking into the middle of the fight and just dropping a reflection on everybody, just causing a ton of chaos.
Also, I mean, you want that gap closing item to make sure that you're close enough to use Metamorph and kill people. Avoid get stunned, you want to be able to burst him down.
So that's Refresher Shard on Terrorblade. That is 2 BKB and 2 Metamorph, and of course 2 Thunder.
See how he uses it, because it's very awkward right now with his, I guess the Mask of Madness could be dropped, but it is definitely a slot limited Terrorblade.
With 1 barrage of Laser Rocket Dagon, that's half of Freeze's HP.
Yep. Easy playing around the trees up top, trying to be as pesky as possible. And for EG, are you just kind of stalling out the Aegis now? How big is an Aegis at this point of the game? It is only the Tiny who has it. The Refresher Shot, those don't expire.
I think the Aegis is actually very important. The way that Thunder's been playing with the Tiny is he's constantly putting him on the front line, right? Remember, he was the one that walked into EG, and now he's going to get initiated, and that Aegis is going to be super helpful here.
Yep, it's been going on here. That Hex Slash so little. The Chronosphere from Sumail, this time catching a couple. Nicely played, will bring down the Tiny Aegis. Ayo could not get the Grave off. He got caught in the trees with it, but it looks like VGJ want to turn it 5 for the DK. He's been hexed, he's been disabled, but he gets the BKB off with the help of the Lotus Law. Goes in on Fear, they want to burst down the ult. Snowball will save him, goes on the ET as well, will bring him down. Fear though still getting bursted by the Terrorblade Dragon Knight. The damage output is just too much. The toss in as well, incoming from above. Sylar brings him down. What
Tinker,
a team fight from VGJ.
All RTZ could do just stay really far away, because he understands if he gets caught by the Blink Dagger of Freeze, he is donezo. And now with that team fight victory, with the help of Aegis on Yang, they're going to come roaring in. This could be 2 to 3 lanes of Rax.
Yeah, you can see it in the team fight recap. Tinker doing good damage, but not able to really finish anyone off. Buyback from Witch Doctor.
Where's that creep wave, man?
DK gets given the Refresher Shot. Sylar perhaps looking for a second Dragon form here. Not the carry I would have expected. May change their mind soon, but perhaps could catch them by surprise. I think TB was just like, I don't have the slots for this thing. I got too many items to juggle. It's too complicated.
And honestly, he is probably... Well,
I use it. There we go. Passes it over, has the Metamorph now. He just didn't want to carry. He's got his pack mule, which is Sylar.
And against Sumail, he is the central piece here. Chrono down for 20 more seconds.
He went for the Metamorph range. That actually explains a lot. I was like, watching that fight, like, how is this DB attacking? But Metamorph range against the Chrono and against these heroes that are kiting you around.
It's the perfect choice too, because the way that his team is playing, they're putting the Dragon Knight and the Titan in front, right? So Terrorblade is actually the safest core on the side of Thunder. So he is just going full glass cannon, and it's been working out.
DK with the plus strength, not going for the stun duration. That was perhaps one I wasn't sure about which way it could go. the other big level 25s. Death Prophet about to get 25. That could give her the haste under Exorcism, which could be very nice considering how some of these fights are going down. Tiny approaching level 25 as well. What are we looking at there? Pulse charges, or more than likely the avalanche cooldown.
You know, if I tell you that we've gone through 50 minutes of gameplay and Tinker has not died once, yet EG is losing, will you believe that statement?
I'm watching it unfold, Lumi.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's the crazy thing.
Fortunate to be watching that unfold.
Thunder has been playing around this Tinker so well throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Normally, your position 5 support is like 0-20 by now because a Tinker can be such a big menace, but...
DD, Dragon Knight, they're charging forward. They saw Crit go up to the cliff. They want to take a fight. Yeah, he could be done for. Arteezy needs to be careful as well. Does not have Blink, but the Spirit will not catch up to him just yet. Sylar, though, is looking for him. Not going to chase onto the high ground. Aegis, Cheese, Refreshes all being used up. So talk about how that Roshan could be a game-deciding factor. It wasn't, which means next Roshan will be, right? That's how that works, I'm pretty sure. What will be the deciding factor for a game like this? That buyback does feel so close.
100% buybacks. Buybacks and cooldowns. Which I think VGJ is still operating more on the disadvantage on at least the cooldown department. Things like Dragon Form as well as the Metamorphosis is so important.
And these late game runes, oh, Hex, they've called Dragon Knight. 2-man Chrono Ayo as he got the break. Throws it out, will keep Sylar alive, but he needs to get the Satanic off. Can he BKB? He's been perma Hex, no chance to BKB. No chance to Satanic. Yang is next, trapped in by the Eye-Shots. Nice Earth Splitter, but it's Arteezy cleaning them up. EG run a train through VGJ.Thunder, getting a couple of kills, and Lumi, no buyback on Dragon Knight. He committed for the Satanic. EG do not know that is probably the more important
They will run down mid and force it out, that is for sure. But here's the thing, the Exorcism has just run out, so can EG actually...
Metamorphosis was also used. Good news is there's an Arcane Room, but there's still going to be a small window with no Metamorph.
Oh, you say small window, I'm looking at 65 seconds. So no Exorcism on one side. EG is gonna just right-click. Yeah, you know, they want the fight, but I'm not sure how much they could get here.
And one lane of Rax is not a game-deciding amount of damage at this point. Tiny will buy back, which may be enough to deter the push. I think at this point you see one buyback and you're like, well, we don't want to get tossed in and see another buyback. If they knew 100% there was no DK buyback, they could go for that, but they don't. They don't have that information that we have.
And the reason that Chronosphere was so good, not only did it catch both the cores, the Chrono basically cut off the entire area that Thunder could fight. So Terrorblade couldn't actually, like, let's say, blink to a different part of the map and start just right-clicking. So it's not only the Chrono hitting too, but the Chrono just cutting off the entire pathway of the fight.
I think, for me, the deciding factor for that fight is the fact that you get this Grave on a Dragon Knight. He's actually going to BKB Satanic and turn that fight around if he gets those items off, but they continue to chain disable him. Through the Grave, Arteezy kept on hexing him. He knew that, yeah, he's Grave and he's going to survive the Chrono, but we need to kill him after the Chrono.
Do you know why he's getting perma-hex? Because Yang also got Chronoed. Normally, Yang just throws the Lotus Orb on whoever that's getting Chrono, so the perma-hex could never happen. But Yang also getting caught was the result of such a disastrous fight.
They need perhaps another hero to itemize against that Hex, which is very difficult to do so. Dazzle, I guess, you know, start farming a Lotus Orb, bro.
I mean, he's buying all the wards, so it's tough. Maybe Fade.
See what comes next for this crazy game.
This is only game 2, by the way. We got a long series.
This is the bo5.
Yeah. Sumail's gonna just walk in on the bottom side.
Wants to force TPs more than anything, I feel. I mean, yeah, to get a Rack's great, but surely VGJ don't just give this up for free.
I mean, that is a tier 3 tower, which would open up the shrines, but right now, VG's just gonna run down mid, says, we're gonna get your tier 3s first.
They've had enough, it seems. In some sense, both teams going for the tier 3 tower. Sumail gets one, meanwhile mid lane. Dragon Knight should be able to get another, but he's being lasered up. The Lotus Orb will get rid of it. Will Sylar be able to finish him off? TP back from the Void. Can he set up a Chronosphere? Sumail has the Ag Scepter. This is a much shorter cooldown, 60 seconds. That downtime between these long team fights suddenly gets a whole lot shorter for EG.
And now top, look at RTZ already cutting, or rather bottom, cutting the waves in.
Well, he wants to force those TPs back.
Yeah.
We'll see both teams take out the shrines. Taking tier 3s is much more about the shrines than getting a lane of racks right now, because those shrines are access points on the map that can help get you out there to contest things like Roshan. Having those TP locations can be very, very helpful.
Amongst all the other crazy things in this game, one of the also crazier thing is that in 56 minutes of gameplay, neither team has led more than 6,000 gold. This game is just one of the closest games we have watched, not only in this tournament, but in recent memory.
Just smoke from EG. They can just get down some wards, it's okay, but ideally they want to find a big pick.
Oh, here
Tiny has no buyback. Freeze is on the high ground here. He's going to pop it, finds Misery. What's the play here? Blink in, time walk out from Sumail. If he managed to maybe blink on the high ground and get some vision, he may have gone for a chrono.
Another play that EG can make is just force a fight under the Thunder base with Exorcism. These fights have been dragging on now, and I do believe Fair's ultimate could just take down Rax.
I mean, he has an Arcane Rune. He may want to just consider that, but
yeah.
I think the other danger is, we talked about this earlier, you take a lane of Rax with Exorcism and VGJ don't defend it, what happens after that? When that big ultimate is on cooldown, that's 100 seconds still.
Sure.
VGJ will have the upper hand. So I think both teams are very reluctant to use these big spells, because you put yourself in these really dangerous, vulnerable positions. That's partly why Sumail gets an axe, because he wants the shortest Chronosphere cooldown possible.
I feel like we're starting to see both teams really max out on items.
Oh yeah, there's not really much more to go. TB's got the moonshot. Is he going to eat it? He wants to carry it.
He's gonna farm and then eat it before the fight. Is that the true efficiency play?
This is the hero without buyback. They look to burst him down. Grave is there. Yang can he get out of this one? He's going to use himself up, but I don't think there's an escape for him. He's been brought down. Dead for 100+ seconds here. They get to sleep on the Fear, who does pop the Ghost Scepter. Saves himself from the Terrorblade. Not so lucky is the Void. That's Sumail dead. Potentially problematic situation for Misery as well. Buyback from the Void. He's going to have a Chronosphere soon to cast. Still bouncing around, and Misery somehow survived through it all, but will finally get caught out by Sylar. I think Sumail just knew he was going to have to buy back regardless. Even though he doesn't get to come and team fight crit, snowball forward. Can he get the blink away? We've seen this time and time again. Doesn't get the blink to the high ground. They get the Hex coming out here. They want to bring down Terrorblade. Can they do it? Sylar, though, instead he gets the Sun on Spear. Can they burst down the old man?
Thunder!
Lincoln's up. He gets the Thunder out on TZ. He's dead. With buyback, he may not want to use it. The buybacks are going to come in, pouring from EG. They do want to go for it. They want to try and end this game. They know. No Dragon Form, no Metamorph. They close this one. It's back up. Sumail doesn't need it for the Dragon Knight. Will burst him down. Okay. Not sure there's an escape. They're going to leave him for dead, I believe. They chase. They want more. The Grave will not change the fate of the Dragon Knight.
Well, EG has spent multiple buybacks, but the most important thing is, they're going to get Roshan. So the question is now, will Thunder buy back and challenge? I don't think they just possibly can.
I think the reason EG buyback is because right now Thunder are more cooldown dependent. Metamorph and Dragon Form have these long cooldowns. Chronosphere does not. VG have removed one of their bigger long cooldowns they had to wait for.
Yeah, and you can see the Aghanim Scepter for Sumail actually was literally fight winning in that engagement. If they didn't have that second Chronosphere, there was no way that EG would have been able to buy back, take that fight.
Well, he's got a refresher now, so he's going to have double Chronosphere instantly. Interesting they give TZ the age. I was about to say, Sumail doesn't have buyback, but TZ doesn't as well. And that's the other reason you buy back, to get Roshan. In these late game scenarios, you get an Aegis, so effectively you get that second life anyways. What more craziness does this game have in store for us?
I guess Shrines are now under siege. EG has enough map control to remove at least this one and maybe the other one as well across the map.
If you're VGJ, I mean, you're obviously waiting Dragon Knight to come back, but they have buybacks, and they're playing against an EG team that does not. Are they going to try and move out on the map to fight into this EG side once they have Metamorph?
It depends on how risky you want to play. There's a very small time window where Aegis times out and Tinker's buyback is still not available. If you want to strike right at that moment and you get the Tinker kill, you win the game.
I feel like VGJ's next, I mean, there is still, to me, really one big item for TB, which is Refresher with buyback. Because if you can buy back and still have Metamorph, that can be game-changing.
But he's out of slots. Like, he's already trying to make slots for the butterfly.
You don't need slots for a refresher. You know, you buy back, you pop it in the base, and then like refresher is not a slot-dependent item in that sense. But it does give him 2 lives where he has Metamorph for
right
both.
now. They're smoking up to high ground without any vision. This is looking bad.
Yep. EG will they pop this crit. Has the ward, he pops it too. Dire ward drop, they still catch crit though. The Aeon Disc will save his life for now. Silent pops the BKB, Sumail is there. Good chrono. Does he want to go for this one? The Snowball buying some time here. Fear on the north side, zoning out Yang. Time walk out. EG disengaged. Dragonform was used, as was Metamorph.
And so is Sylar's BKB. They've used a ton of cooldown here.
EG themselves did use Exorcism, to be fair. Not just about the VGJ cooldowns.
I think Thunder might need to just engage in again, because they need these cooldown.
Yeah. Here come EG. Do they look to go for this one? TZ can frontline with an Aegis to a certain extent. Witch Doctor positioned even further back, maintaining the vision for his team, knowing there's no dire wards. He just de-warded it. VGJ are surely out of smokes after that one.
62 minutes in, 24-24 with 1,000 net worth lead this game.
Yeah, I imagine this TB really wants this refresh now. There's 100 seconds before Metamorph. Can he buy it? He's 200 short to have it buyback and refresher.
Yeah. He'll get it right now.
Yeah, he can sell his quarterstaff as well if he really wants to be safe. Speaking of crazy late game Lumi, Octarine Tiny for 3.75 second avalanche cooldown. That's something.
Don't forget all of those active items. The Lotus Orb in particular being very important. The 4 staffs we seen being absolutely crucial.
This is definitely a great game to showcase late game Dota. Aeon Disc coming out from the Tusk, making big plays happen. If he doesn't have an Aeon Disc there, he likely dies, but Crit is positioned to pop that smoke knowing that he cannot be bursted.
Also, remember the point I made earlier about 20 minutes ago that EG just lacks a front line. With that Aeon Disc, Crit becomes a front line, and he gets to actually just stand right in front of VGJ.Thunder and says, come at me. I'm going to survive anything that you throw at me. To the best of my knowledge, there is just no counterplay to what Crit's doing, right? Like
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
well, the cooldown of Aeon Disc is perhaps the limiting factor.
I suppose, yeah.
Does have a 100-second cooldown.
I guess if you have a hero like Tinker on your side, you could just pop that Aeon Disc before the fight even happens, but Thunder doesn't really have that kind of heroes to engage in a very long-range combat.
Yep. Well, we'll settle down. Who else is? Everyone's saying 25. Dazzle's got 25. Extra Shadow Wave cooldown. Elder Titan approaching his level 25.
I wonder how important the Shadow Wave cooldown actually is. The ultimate upgrade might matter a bit more.
Neither 25 sounds like amazing or too influential. Earth split a cooldown on 25 for AP. Okay. Blink on out. Chronosphere catches out too. There is a grave if they need it. Ayo's on the outside of this one. I don't know if EG want to commit. Sylar charging forward, looking for stuns against Linkedorf for Sumail. Still in trouble. He gets the time walk out of there. Tinker zoning away VGJ, and again we see VGJ pop all their BKBs, their big spells, and not kill anyone. EG completely destroyed the fight, but again also Exorcism was used, so even if EG want to go push, their primary building damage has been used.
Normally I say that's a big victory for VGJ, or for EG, excuse me, but don't forget that they still have Refresher Orb on free, so he has now moved the Refresher Orb into his inventory. They're looking to find another fight right now.
And this could catch EG by surprise. The BKBs being just used, you don't expect them to run at you, but the one redeeming factor about 5-second BKBs is the short 55-second cooldown.
Well, here's the thing. I think if Sumail passes the Refresher Orb back to Fair, they will have everything ready to go again.
Yep. Oh, smoke coming out. That's a dire scan. They just want
to Fair. Or Sumail, rather.
Oh, he's okay. Sumail into a pack of wolves. VGJ.Thunder will take him out, and that Void does not have buyback for 50 seconds, but 50 seconds feels like enough breathing room for EG to keep these lanes pushed out. Tinker definitely excelling in that area. Crit at mid. Okay, he almost gets caught by Yang. I don't think that pick is necessarily going to lead to anything, Lumi.
They might be able to force out the buyback, because I don't think EG will be able to defend for 100 seconds. So You just run down mid, I guess.
It is very much like you said. Buybacks is what is the most important factor right now.
I mean, the other thing is that if you're VGJ.Thunder, are you afraid to force out the buyback? Because you might just lose the fight after he buys back. So it's just back and forth.
That's where you're just going to trust the Dazzle, I think.
Yeah.
Trust that Dazzle will get Graves off, and same for the Tiny, getting the Lotus Orb against the Tinker Hex, so you can at least echo the Hex and stop the Chain Hex from happening. He's going to preemptively use that Lotus Orb as you need to against a Tinker.
RTC's BKB.
Yeah, he's able to just hold his ground and fight. Forces VGJ back, and no
Sylar
back so far. Okay, there's the Grave. Dragon Knight getting low. Pops the Satanic. He's going to heal off some creeps. Gets him back very healthy.
That's a lot of cooldowns used, though.
They really want to force this buyback, and EG really do not want to use it. I think it's worth giving up. One lane of Rex is not a big deal.
It really is.
You can hold that buyback.
Freeze blinks forward, but now he gets hexed up here. Sylar now blinks forward as well. They're going to try to get a kill. Misery, though, he's invis. He's going to get control, but Misery is still fine right now. He turns around and starts dropping some spells. RTC on the back line, just letting it rip. But now Sylar goes in. RTC blown up.
Okay, they're going to turn this one around, Luby. And again, saving some life, but not enough. The Tinker has to buy back. The Void really does not want to use it. He's trying to hold on to a TV with his BKB being popped, going to turn and fight. Fear in the front lines, goes centers up. He wants to stand his ground. He wants to do some damage with his exorcism.
Freeze is being controlled.
Nice forced up, gets TB to the low ground. Can he get the Thunder off? He gets back to safety for now. TB brought down. VGJ. Sumail's there. Chronosphere catches 3. It's going to destroy VGJ.
Massive buyback coming out here from VGJ.Thunder for the fight's win. Meanwhile, Freeze has ported to the mid lane to actually destroy the Rax. Can he actually make it out alive? That's a question.
They're looking for him.
Uh-oh. They're catching up. Does he get vision? One more blink is all he needs. He gets the fix. Where's the support from Thunder? They need to back him up.
They saw the buyback. There's a Chronosphere again. They're going to get this kill, Luby. TB.
Wait. He's still alive.
Okay.
Thunder.
Thunder the Tiny. Keeps himself alive, but Tiny not going to be so lucky. This does not look good for VGJ to get the avalanche out to a couple. Sylar in the front line just Dragon Ball for a couple of seconds. Terrorblade doing what he can to turn this fight. He's got Metamorph. He kills Sumail. This game not over yet, Luby. TB, he wants more. He wants fear. Buyback coming in from the Void. And EG.
Oh! All right, now everybody disengage. Meanwhile, it looks like the creeps have taken the bot Rax. We are still even. Both teams down 1 Rax. Nobody has buybacks. Except Fear. Oh my god, this game is absolutely crazy.
What on earth is going on? Right, I mean, you talk about buybacks, that's what we got to show. 7 of the 10 heroes without. 2 of those buybacks are supports. I say just support, but this Tusk buyback has definitely been
It's very important,
yeah, very important when he's the Dazzle of EG.
I don't know if he's really the Dazzle of EG, but he's performing a very central role. And now it's going to be EG's turn to hunt. If VGJ gets caught here, they lose. They cannot lose any member of the team right now.
I think you have to give up this Roshan.
Yeah.
You've got no buyback on Tiny, no Metamorph. The refresher even on cooldown for TB.
It's starting to get to a point where these Aegis Cheese and even the refresher shard might not be even that important, but they're not even going to give it up. The stock's going to come in to delay the Roshan.
I don't think they want to go near that pit though, Lumy. There's a Chronosphere. It just does not sound good for them. TB goes back for a butterfly now.
Roshan is doing a very good job defending himself. The bash is a rear right now, and that's going to force Sphere to actually use his ultimate.
I think you're happy about that if you're VGJ. You know there's going to be some breathing room after this Roshan where they're not going to come push and try and fight you. Roshan goes down. Aegis on Sumail. He's one of the missing buybacks on EG's side. Cheese in the Death Prophet backpack and Refresher Shard in Sumail's backpack.
By the way, now that we got a little bit of free time, I do want to go back to Dazzle's level 25 talent. During the last push, the fact that he has a very low cooldown on his heal was actually very important, keeping that creep wave alive against the March of the Machine. Just constantly healing it to make sure that they actually have a wave into the base. A small but a very vital thing in this game.
Yep. Sumail gets the refresher shard into his items here. May want to go in, has a double damage. He's eyeing off a fight. The refresher shard on cooldown. Who knew this item even had a cooldown? I did not.
What is the cooldown on the shard?
Refresher shard, 200-second cooldown. You can't stack them.
200-second cooldown, yeah.
The more you know. Smoke up. VGJ want to play the aggressors. They get the scan, they clip Sumail. Have an idea of where EG is. They're going to see more here in the mid lane. Here comes the approach from behind. Crit has the Aeon Disc, not the ideal target to go for. Crowd knows something is amiss. The Radiant scan and clip them. They don't know exactly where VGJ are, but they have an idea. They're behind. They immediately run. Let's go to the high ground. Let's get to safety. This is our safe hill. We will defend and be kings of the hill if we have to. They run north, actually. They know VGJ's on their side of the map. They say, well, that means tops.
Yeah,
tops exposed.
I'm not sure how many TP scrolls are available on VGJ because everyone's inventory is running out. If they could just hit the tier 3. But now, again, they go back to the hill.
Syla's running right into them. Ritz there, he blinks away. Syla hex up now. Tiny gets Chrono, wins the Dragon Knight. Not looking good. The Earthsplit are coming as well. Chrono catches out 3 this time. Gonna time walk in, go for the Elder Titan, take out those stuns. Hex up on the Dragon Knight. He can't do a whole lot. It's DB trying to bring down Fear, but the Ghost Scepter saving his life. Syla, meanwhile, takes out the Tusk. Tinker is dead without a buyback. Fear, Lotus solved up. He's on full retreat. Can't really be kept up with for now. TP out, will he make it?
Stun?
No! He gets out of there. The stun was too late, and the Linken Sphere blocks it. Needed something to break the Linkens as well as the stun.
Yeah, the Bloodthorn was on cooldown for that engagement. As nice as these Chronospheres are, he's not catching the most important person, which is Freeze. The Chronosphere control both Dragon Knight and Tiny, but Freeze just went straight on Arteezy and just killed him in like 3 shots.
Yeah.
Top lane though, they're looking for the Dazzle gank. They're ganking Dazzle. Dazzle flips away.
Definitely a hero worth. He's the one keeping top push who's going to boots to travel into these fights.
Oh, they're just going for it now.
They've got DD of all the time, 72 minutes in. Terrorblade, Metamorph, double damage. Once the tier 4s, Tinker has no buyback for 2 minutes. They want to end this game. They can ignore the heroes. Where's the Chrono? It's on cooldown looming. 40 seconds without. Sumail cannot defend this. It looks like VGJ will take out the tier 4 towers. Aegis is popped. They're going for the throne. They're going for the GG. Evil geniuses. What have they got left? I don't think it's enough to bring down Freeze. He gets 7. Needs the Thunder. He ends it. Throne goes down. And EG are defeated in game 2.
This has got to be one of the most amazing single game I've had casted. What a crazy back and forth play.
Man, games like that is what Dota 2 is all about. We've got to feel for EG.